Hey guys, KCD4, I am Jeremy Edsel, and I'm going to be your video producer for the summer, and I am so excited to serve with you all. So first of all, thanks for welcoming me to the team, and I know it's kind of a late addition, but again, I so can't wait for the next couple weeks to get over so I can come out there to Nashville and meet some of the team there. So, but hey, welcome to George Washington Carver National Monument here in Diamond, Missouri. It's about just a few minutes from where I was born and grew up and all of that. And this is the home place of George Washington Carver, an amazing African American who did some great work with agriculture, with peanuts and peanut oil, came up with a lot of uses for that kind of stuff, and of course, because of the time period that he was born into, made just great strides for mankind in general. So, that aside, let me tell you a little bit about myself. Of course, I've grown up in Southwest Missouri my entire life. I'm a Midwest guy, but a city guy at heart, even though very small towns around here. And yeah, grew up in Neosho High School, did music everywhere. I was the only person in I think Missouri in general that did concert band, jazz band, show choir, and concert choir in very dorky classes. But the only one to do those all of my years, and it was so much fun, and music is a huge part of my life. I've been performing in front of people ever since I was 5 years old, doing church choirs, and of course, being the kid that was volunteered to sing the solos in front of the entire church, which was always nerve-wracking to me. Still kind of is during some times. And first of all, let me tell you, just apologize for the wind that's coming in. We've got some tornadoes and tornado warnings off to the west of us, and I so can't wait to go chase some of those here in a few minutes. But yeah, I grew up in the church, and so salvation story is very simple. I never liked going to children's church, so I was always sitting and listening to the pastor and listening to him speak, and the pastor that I grew up with was always talking about mission work, which was always sounded really awesome to me. So I went up to him one Sunday whenever I was 7 and was like, how can I be a missionary? How can I do mission work? And he was like, well, do you have a relationship with Jesus Christ? And I had to think about it, and of course at age 7, I did not know at that point. So I talked about it with him, and I made the decision to follow Christ, and I was baptized in 1993 August in a horse trough. It was a very small church at that point, but you know, that's all right. I was excited about it anyway. And but it really wasn't until the summer of 2001, summer of 2002, one of those two. The youth pastor I had at that time was also the president of Real Ministry, and he did these awesome camps called Super Summer here in the Midwest, and I followed him around, and while I wasn't a student all of the weeks that he did these camps, most of the weeks I would do some of the behind-the-scenes work, setting up for the band, setting up for the drama team, running errands. Really, I was a gopher, but that's okay. It was one of those weeks, though, that one of the worship sessions, I think it was a Wednesday night during July, and I just really felt like I needed to get down on my knees and stop singing, stop listening to what was going on, and just be in the presence of God. And whenever I finally did that, when I stopped my usual practice of worship, God finally spoke to me and was like, hey, I need you to go and do this stuff for me. I need you to be my minister. And I don't know why he picked me. I still don't know to this day. I just never feel like I'm fully capable of doing what God wants me to do, but that's how God works a lot of the time. So but ever since that day, I knew that I was called for music ministry, and ever since then, I've been leading worship for different odd youth groups, even while I was in high school, and I do volunteer work now at Wildwood Baptist Church here in Joplin, and did leading worship for a Presbyterian church in Joplin, and I just love it to death. Always have, always will. And interesting though, I'm a video producer for CK4, and did some of that work last year with Katie Allred for the Combo Red team, and I can't be more excited about this. This is so cool, and I can't wait to capture you all leading these kids in the gospel, and just showing that on the big screen, and getting the kids excited about it as well. So let's see, I've got my professional question sheet here. Oh yeah, so I'm at Ozark Christian College here in Joplin, Missouri, and I've got about one semester left and then one semester of internship, and my major is music and worship. Really tough program here just because you have to do so many Bible classes along with it, and so it takes longer than most of the other degrees, but it's been a lot of fun so far, getting to be with the choir, getting to be with all these other students who are like-minded, and getting ready for serving and working in the gospel. And but of course, I'm definitely excited to be done and get to move on from there and get to just do what I was created to do. And let's see. Some of the hobbies that I have, they're very random, and there are so many of them. I love just getting out and doing sports in general. Ultimate Frisbee is awesome. We need to play that this summer. I love handball. Got a few injuries last year doing that. But I also, the biggest passion that I have sports-wise is baseball. My grandfather was always a big St. Louis Cardinals fan. My mom was, and then of course growing up I was as well. Of course, we're the best team in the National League right now, first to 20 wins, and sorry, Aubrey, about your Astros, what we're probably going to do to them the next 3 days, but that's okay. Friendly rivalry there. And just baseball has always been cool to me. I don't even know how to explain how cool it is. It just is. And I was a pitcher growing up in Little League and then in high school for a while, and if it wasn't for injuries and weight training in high school, story for a later time, I'd still be probably doing that today. But I also love cooking. Cooking Italian food has always been a big deal for me. Cooking desserts, my band that I'm in, and my friends always rave about wanting me to cook for them and all that stuff. Be a little disappointed not being able to do that for the entire summer. But I also love traveling. Traveling has always been big for me, and I just love to get out and see new places, climb new things, jump out of different airplanes. I love skydiving, love whitewater rafting. I love extreme sports like that, and just getting out in raw nature. And like I was saying earlier, I'm excited to go out and chase some of these storms that are coming through. I've always been big into meteorology, and when I was a kid, I always loved to get in front of the TV and pretend like I was the weather guy on TV and telling people what's going to happen during the week weather-wise. And I just love seeing the power of God in nature and just what He's capable of, and just yeah, I don't think I can say it better than what God and Job, their discussion in Job. It's just unbelievable, the power of God, and getting to see that in His creation is just unbelievable. Let's see. I also, of course, love music. I love to sing. Ever since I was a little kid, I sing. I love to write music. I love to play guitar, do all that stuff. So hopefully I'll be bringing my guitar this time around just so I can get to enjoy all that stuff and hopefully to share that with you guys as well. Some of the major events and people that have played a huge portion of my life. Of course, I got to give a shout out to Jennifer Niemeyer. She's in my band. She's an amazing singer. She's also a great model. Her husband is also really cool. But she's absolutely my best friend. I can talk to her about anything, and we just get along really well together. We go storm chasing together, and just the impact that she's had on my life, and just, you know, take my hand and help me get through a lot of different situations. It's been really cool. Probably the biggest event recently that has changed my life so much for the better. I was in a 4.5-year relationship. A lot of it was engagement and just situations that were out of my control. I was kind of left high and dry. But got involved with Center Kid last summer, and it just totally taught me that the relationship that I had didn't need to be the center of my life like it was. I didn't need people to be the center of my life like they were. I didn't need myself to be the center of my life. I needed Jesus Christ to be the center wholly, first and foremost. And just being around the camp team that I had, and being around all of those kids and getting to minister to them, it just totally revamped my focus and put it where it needed to be. And so if you want more of the story, no problem, I can always tell you later. But then, man, probably the theme of my life has always been, if I feel like I can't do a job for God, He's going to give me that job to do. I never thought I was supposed to preach before, and yet then God put me in front of a house church, leading people who have fallen away from the church and they wanted to get back, and that kind of stuff. And I never thought I was supposed to work with kids, and even throughout most of last year, a lot of times were frustrating because I was so tired, and I felt like I was doing so much, and I just couldn't get the energy that I wanted. And I probably thought that I wasn't going to be doing Center Kid again until one student came up to me during, I think it was the 6th week of camp, and that particular student hadn't been involved with abuse, and I was the only person that student had ever told before. And just to be able to work with that student and get that student help, and to show that person Christ for the first time was just absolutely amazing. and there was no way that I wasn't going to be back here this summer. You know, it was really hard to wait until this point to get ready for camp, and I'm so excited to get back out there and do all that. And again, if you want more of that story, I can always tell you later. And I love telling that story. And yeah, I mean, of course, a lot of people that are really important in my life. My grandfather will always be a huge factor, even though he's passed away a few years ago. Just the example that he set for ministering to his own family and then ministering to other people with music was just always a great example that I wanted to follow. And he's the man that I wanna become. And yeah. So anyway, I've probably rambled on long enough. These storms are getting closer, so I'm gonna probably go out and either take shelter or grab a couple friends and go check them out and everything. But yeah, I'm really excited to see you in a few weeks. And yeah, go CK4.